on, y'all, join me.
Let's just talk about it. No pressure, just dialogue. On the Tisa Batey Show. Let's just talk about it. No pressure, just dialogue. On the Tisa Batey Show. Let's just talk about it. No pressure, just dialogue. On the Tisa Batey Show. Let's just talk about it. No pressure, just dialogue. On the Tisa Batey Show.
Yes. What's going on, everyone?
Hey.
What's going on, sweet babies?
Hey.
Welcome. And that song just does it for me. It just puts a little, pep in my step and stuff. I love my theme song. Thank you, Seth Warren. Seth Warren. Anyway, welcome back. You know who it is. It's your girl. It's your girl, Tisa Batey, coming to you with another fabulous podcast. We are doing, wait on it, part 2 of dating over 40 from a woman's perspective. The last one was so successful that we had to back it up with a part 2. In addition, there was one guest that we had on the show that you guys weren't able, she was experiencing technical difficulties, which prohibited her from being able to freely express herself. And we need to know what she has to say. So without further ado, I am going to introduce my guests. I'm so excited about having them on. And listen for all the viewers, sharing is caring. If you would be so kind, please share this podcast. This is Dating Over 40 from a woman's perspective. And we have also advice from a married woman on the show with us today. So without further ado, the first guest I want to recognize is, she's no stranger to the Tisa Batey Show. She's been on before. She's out of Tennessee. She is in the healthcare industry, and she is a beautiful, beautiful spirit inside and out. Welcome, Donna.
Hey.
Welcome from Tennessee.
Thanks for having me.
So, Donna, tell us how old you are, if you don't mind. You're over 40.
Yes, I'm over 40, 50 plus.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
What?
Grady, you said she looked like Thelma from Good Times, I think.
Yes. Lord Jesus.
Ain't she cute, y'all?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay. Well, next we have on the show, and I'm very excited about this one as well. This is my sorority sisters. This is my friend, longtime friend. We went to college together. She has been a flight attendant for many, many years. She was also an original cast member of Real Chance for Love. She was Lusty on Real Chance for Love. Give it up for my girl, Shonda. Welcome, sweet baby. You said shoot. No shushing. We getting ready to talk about it. We getting ready to talk about it. And if the good thing, I can hear you now. The good thing about Shonda is this: if she starts freezing up today, then guess what?
What's that?
She's right around the corner from me. She's in the same house, so I'm gonna bring her right in here,
That's right.
so everyone can hear what she has to say. Because we don't want the freezing. So can you hear Shonda? Are you good?
She might have to come on in the room.
Okay. You might have to go to the room.
Shonda.
This is what we not gonna do this week. Huh?
In a room.
Go on in the
Something is going on with your phone, and I don't know what it is. Before we go on the air, she's fine, but when we start the broadcast, she freezes up.
Yeah.
So something is wrong with your phone.
She
So
posed for a picture.
what I need you to
The
do.
government is watching.
That's what it is.
They probably are. So that's why I have you here with me today. So she will be in here with me, no doubt, because her phone is tripping. And also we have on the show, and this is and she's no stranger to the Tisa Batey Show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful girlfriend of mine, one of my closest friends, and former singing fellow praise teamer. This is the one and only Ursula Mims Relaford. She is a worker for the federal government, and she has been married for how many years now, Ursula?
26 next month.
26
20.
wonderful
26.
years.
The same
Yeah.
man. Same man.
The same man for 26 years. What about that?
26. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, peace. Hey, girl. Don't leave
Welcome,
me.
Ursula.
Don't leave me.
I got to get up out of here. I got to get up out of the egg. I got just a little more time, but I gotta get up out of here. I'm gonna bring Shonda in here with me. And of course, thank you, Ursula, for being on. And of course, we have back with us this week, and I'm always excited to have my male counterparts join us. We got the one and only Cooley Clark, G. Clark. Serving up fine this fall. Wait, ladies, welcome, G. Clark.
I'm trying. I'm trying hard. I got so much beauty on here. I got to do something.
I'm feeling those glasses and that blue you got going on. It just really works for me.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Shonda, come on in the room. Come on in the room.
I ain't gonna try to sing no more. She did that wrong.
Yes, auntie. She's really trying to make it work. She really don't want to be in here with me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm starting to feel some kind of way. I actually bathed this morning. And so
Wait. Okay, all right.
Jesus.
What you talking about all that?
I'm saying Shonda's acting like she doesn't want to be in here with me. Like,
okay.
Starting to take that personal. And last but certainly not least, welcome back after his hiatus. Welcome back, DJ Brady, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad to be in the building with such beautiful people.
I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Glad
He
to be
came
back.
back educated.
Yeah, I gotta
Come on over here. We getting ready to. I'm pulling you up that chair. We getting ready to work some things out because
we need to hear
not
this.
gonna do. Oh yeah, we definitely, most certainly need to hear what Shonda has to say today. So give me just 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, somebody have speakers, the audio coming out of the speakers. You have earplugs?
I do, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to take my headphones off just so that Shonda can hear everything that's going on. Is that fair?
That's
so
fair.
I'm unplugged.
Cool.
Tisa, if I may add a comment, I heard you sing them notes, and that further confirms why in high school I was in chorus. I couldn't sing a lick, but I was darn sure in chorus because all the most beautiful, finest women were singles. That's all I'm saying.
Is that right?
I learned how to play the piano so they wouldn't kick me out. Yes, I did.
Yeah. I sung in three different choirs at three different churches.
Yeah, we got a little bit of vocals going on.
Yeah, we have.
Look, you guys should hear the lady at the bottom of the screen, Ursula. She can belt too. She can blow.
Oh yeah.
But listen, guys, let's go ahead. We got to get into this podcast. I'm excited about it. I'm more than excited about it. The first thing that I want to talk about is I want to just know from their own perspective, Shonda's and Donna's, why it is you think you're single today. Why are y'all still single at this point?
Okay. Well, Tisa, you know, as well as most people, my journey as a widow, 4.5 years. So 3 years of that, 3.5 years of that was a lot of healing. And so I wasn't ready to step out there in the dating world. I was married for 19 years. So if you add another 3 years to that, that's how long I've been out in that arena. But I have met people, but either distance or not making a connection. You know, with the pandemic has changed the way that we changed our socialization. So, you know, where we were able to gather in public places or your favorite gathering to meet, you know, the mingle, now that's limited capacity. So everyone's moved over to social media. So I feel like social media has in some ways been, to me, somewhat of a hindrance. It's kind of a negative because people can be who they want to be behind the computer. So
very good.
Yeah, I have found that a lot of people aren't telling the truth or not who they say they are. So it's the dating world for me has been a challenge.
Gotcha. And I think the really the irony and the guest that I have on the show today, and it wasn't by design, it was just it just turned out this way. But so we've got 3 women on the show who, including myself, I'm one, who are actually dating over 40, right? You've got myself, and I'm going to come from a divorced perspective because I was married for 14 years and divorced. You've got Donna, who is widowed, and you've got Shonda, who has yet to be married. So it's just a coincidence that we all have 3 different walks. But I think it's going to add certainly some flavor to the conversation. And then, of course, we've got Ursula, who has been married for 26 years. So Shonda, why do you think you've never been married?
I don't know, girl. I'm still searching. No, just kidding. But I you know what? I lived a life, as like I told you, that I went through my journals.
Yeah.
And I was reading all the things that I've experienced. All the men, I was getting it in at the age of 20 and 27 and 20, 30 and 35 and 40. And so I was getting in. I had to say that.
That's okay.
But you know, I think right now, that the time and place that I'm in right now, I can receive. I've been in relationships where I fell in love. I fell in love with the pilot. I thought that, you know, we were like 2 peas in a pod, that this was the one. It's hard for me to fall in love easily. Okay.
Right.
But I really thought that this guy was the one. And because, you know, I never, being married wasn't a priority for me. But now, and it's funny when I look back at my journal and I see that, oh yeah, I want to be married, but I think I wanted to be married because of the lifestyle that maybe a football player would give me. Because I didn't even know myself at that time.
So you wanted all the perks that came along with being married, but not necessarily the being married itself.
Correct.
That makes sense. And I think a lot of people, to be quite honest, I think a lot of people get caught up in
love with the
Yeah, I was, you know, falling in love for the wrong reasons when I was in the age of 24 and probably even 20.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know myself. I was going to psychics trying to figure out
oh my goodness.
who's in my future.
Who's the future going to hold?
Right.
Yeah. I think, and a lot of people get caught up, a lot of women especially, and it's an unfortunate thing, but I think a lot of women get caught up with not necessarily the marriage, but the wedding. And just the looks.
The looks, basically.
How does it make you look if you're married versus not being married? Guys,
fall
you guys
in love with getting married, but not having to maintain, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Not having to do what it takes every day to make that marriage actually work. And I think that's where the disconnect is for many people. I think for myself, certainly if I could go back and do a lot of things differently, I would make different decisions. Hindsight is 2020, though, right?
Right.
So, it would be wonderful if we were just all provided with, a perfect picture of what our future was going to look like if we make certain choices. That's not the case. So I think that a lot of decisions that I've made in the past have not been the right decisions. They felt like the right decisions for me at the time, but had I to do it over again, I would probably do things a little different. I would probably make some different choices for myself. And I think that I'm not alone in that. I think that that's just, that's human nature. I don't have any regrets. I try not to live with my life with regrets because I think that everything happens for a reason. But certainly, I had the opportunity to stay married. And even after that, I had the opportunity to be married again. And, but what I will tell you is this: when and if it happens for me again, it's just going to have to be right. And the things that I looked over before, the signals and all the signs that were right in front of me that I chose to sort of sweep under the rug or suppress or ignore, I can't ignore them anymore. So for me, it's just going to have to be right. And I feel like when it's right, I'll know it.
It'll be effortless. It'll be
effortless.
Effortless. That's my word.
If it's too hard,
scoop them up and drop them back in the sea.
I can't do it. I'm too old for that right now. And I don't want to use that statement, a lot, but I'm too old for that. I'm too old for the games, and I'm too old for the confusion, and I don't want that in my life. So when it happens, it'll be right.
And saying that, in our 20s and 30s, like Shonda was describing, we had all this time to, we couldn't get it right. And it was like, this one didn't work. And we tried, we hook up with the next guy, or I think I'm going to get married to this one.
Right.
In our 20s and 30s, maybe up to 40s, we had time. But now where we are and where I am, quality matters.
Absolutely.
Something Steve Harvey said today, and they were talking about age, about a Strawberry Letter comment, and they said, and me, I'm going to say me, 50 plus, I'm closer to the grave than I was to birth.
Exactly. Absolutely.
If you look at it that way, it's like, okay, now you got to really take things seriously, and it's all about quality now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you didn't have the patience. We don't have the patience for nonsense.
Yeah.
Of course, there are a lot of things that you're willing to, and let me just say this: when you're younger, you really don't know what you want.
No.
So you would tolerate things at a younger age because he's fine, got it going on,
and a big penis.
Yeah,
excuse me, word.
Right. But all those things, when you're younger, those are the things that matter. Let's just face it. The older you get, I'm not saying that those things are not important, but they certainly are not as relevant as they are when you're young. And so a lot of things you're willing to put up with, when you're young, you don't necessarily care if he's got good credit. Come on, somebody. True. Because you all are building together, right? You're building together. You didn't care about credit. You just wanted him to have a lot of money.
Yeah,
he just had to have money. I mean, a lot of people can have a lot of money and still have jacked up credit. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, but as you get older, I just feel like, that there are things that you're just not so willing to settle for. And I think that's sort of where I am. What do you guys have to add to this? We haven't heard from Cooley, Grady, or Ursula.
Yeah, Cooley has something to say.
I'd like to say,
who wants to go?
just to piggyback off of what you were saying about people being more attracted to the wedding and not necessarily marriage. I was just having a conversation the other day, and we kind of said something more so like they're more concerned with with door number one as opposed to what's behind it. You know, door number one is attractive enough for you to be like, yeah, I got door number one, but you got a whole discombobulated type of ordeal that's about to come behind that door.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, definitely. I would say, man, being this on this earth this long enough, you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself before you start dealing with anybody else. You got to be a whole half.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And somebody's one of our guests. Your phone is up. You have the volume on your phone is up. So I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I need you to turn your phone down. Turn the volume on your phone down. That way we won't be getting all this feedback. I agree with exactly what you said, G. Clark. What do you have to add to that, Grady baby?
I would just like to say that I know you're saying you're waiting for the time is right. Sometimes the time may not ever be right, and it may not be that perfect person. The thing is, I want you ladies to focus on or just consider thinking about how a person treats you and make you feel.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's all a part of it. Like, if they treat me a certain way, if they treat me the way I want to, if they treat me in a way that makes me feel good and makes me feel secure and makes me feel comfortable, then the battle is won, right? So, but if I don't have those feelings, if they don't treat me in a way that makes me feel secure and that makes me feel valued and that makes me feel like I'm a priority, then I can't, my heart innately, I can't give it to you. It just will not respond. I can hang out. We can be cool. We can, but I can't I'm unable to fall in love with someone if I don't feel those necessary feelings of security and that I'm prioritized and that I'm made to, that I'm important and that I'm valuable to him. If I don't have those feelings, then we're at an impasse. We can only go so far, right? But I think that when it's with the right person, you feel that way. They make you feel that way effortlessly. That's me. I don't want anyone who is just trying to seal the deal by, being a chameleon and, being what he thinks I need him to be until I fall for him. And then when I fall for him, then here the true colors come. I don't want that.
That's what I'm afraid of.
But you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you feel me on that? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you would
I feel you on that.
Unconditionally too. This is what I also to say to Tisa is that, if somebody was in a car accident and they're not able to walk ever again, you're still going to love them. I want to love someone unconditionally.
Right.
I want him to be my friend. Someone I can love him.
But do you really think that you could go the rest of your life if you were in love with somebody and they couldn't perform in bed? Do you think you could go the rest of your life and be with them?
Hold on, let me get the
I just want to know. I'm asking.
Let me see.
Lifeline. You have a lifeline to use.
Are you saying that I was with him and
you were with him?
It was good.
It was good. He was putting it down, and y'all were in love.
And then all of a sudden something happened.
And something happened.
The Lord listening now.
Yeah. And G. Clark said the Lord is listening. I just want to know if
don't manifest something. I'm just saying.
That to me is the ultimate sacrifice. To me, that's the ultimate sacrifice, and that is the ultimate expression of your true love for somebody.
But then if I love him unconditionally, now we can be creative and do some things that's creative that will compensate.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. You have to be creative. Ursula, what do you have to say? Everybody's been talking, and ironically, you've been the quiet one. So
I want to stay quiet because it's about the single lady. So I only want to chime in at the right time.
Okay,
to
so
add
you
my
do
Give
little
them some
the right
advice because
time.
they're trying to get to where
Oh,
you
she's
are.
smooth. She's smooth.
Everybody is not trying to get to where she is, DJ. Some of us have already been there. So let me
No,
You
I'm
know,
talking about
so
that longevity. I'm just talking
let
about
me.
that.
look, you don't know my story.
Uh-oh.
Oh
But
yeah,
But
yeah.
you're still
what
here.
what I will say is that for the woman that is desiring a man and desiring to have an authentic, real relationship, that's what you have to first tell yourself. What are you trying to? What do you want? Um, I recall I was listening to the show the last time, Tisa, and you had a lady on the show that said, "I don't need a man, I want a man," or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's
Okay,
what she said.
Yep, she
so
did say that. Yeah.
I told her in my mind I was talking to her and I was telling her, as long as you say that, you probably won't get one. One
Yeah,
probably won't come because all of us want to be needed. That's why we want a man.
Right.
Truth be told, all of us,
Mm.
most of us are looking for a relationship or desiring a relationship because we want
sure.
companionship. Everybody wants somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I'm going to go
Yeah.
a step further and say we need it. We
I
need
think that we need it.
we
I agree
need
with you.
love.
I agree with you completely, Ursula.
We
And that's
we need love. We need companionship. We
yeah,
want to be
Mhm.
needed and
Want to be
loved, and we
loved.
want that person to adore us. And I mean,
sure.
this relationship thing ain't just an issue for no reason. It's an issue because people out here trying to find people because we want people, we need it.
Yeah,
So let's get that out
Mhm.
the way.
yeah.
Um,
And I did address that. You
yeah.
know, and I think that her perspective changed slightly by the end of the show.
Yeah. I wrote down. I said for us, for women over 40, I think our values change. We no longer into game playing. Like for me, if I gave a single woman advice, I would say, first of all, whoever you deal with, let's not play the game. Let's come to the table with all the cards. I
Yeah,
want to tell you what I'm looking for. I want to tell you what I want. And I'm hoping and trusting that you'll do the same because the games are over. Leave that for Monopoly. Leave that for if we actually playing one. But to live one, if we're looking for someone we want, we need you to be authentic and real. It's not just about attraction. It's about someone that respects you, that treats you kind, that just makes you feel like joy on the inside when you're just thinking about them and you're not with them. A
Mhm.
woman, and for women who are independent and strong and financially stable, and we don't really have a need to hook up for those reasons, our power and strength lies in knowing we have all of that, but that we don't have to use it because we got a man that's protecting us,
and
securing us,
that's how,
keeping
and
us.
that is
You know.
truly. Let me interrupt you. That is truly.
Ursula sounds good.
Yeah, but that is truly
Listen.
how
Mhm.
women feel, and so I really have a problem when women say, "Oh, well, I don't need a man. I don't need a
Mhm.
man."
And that's
I mean, are you going to die without one? I mean, maybe
No.
not. But
Mhm.
does your spirit, does your does your happiness, do your I heard a statement one time, and it was 80% of your happiness is contingent upon the relationships that you have.
Mhm.
And if you think about that, 80% is a lot,
Right.
right? So
Yes.
80% is a lot. So 80% of your happiness is contingent upon the relationships that you have. And so it is just, it's very natural that we
Yeah.
all desire to have an intimate, um, loving relationship with
Right.
someone. Um, I don't know that it's a need for everybody, but I would certainly venture to say that more than not, people do desperately want it to the point where it becomes a need. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very natural. So I don't like to. I typically don't like to hear people say, "What I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I don't need." Well, okay. Well, you don't. I mean, yes, you do.
Yes, you-
I mean, there are just
And
some
you know what?
things. Let's just be honest. There are some things that a paycheck. I don't care how independent you are. There are some things that your paycheck cannot provide for
Right.
you.
See,
You can be independent all day, but your paycheck. There are some things that that money just can't buy.
Yeah. But you know what,
Yeah.
Tisa, I don't want to be that type of woman that I can't allow a man into my life. You know, there are some women who they're so set in their ways that they can't allow anyone into their life. I don't want that, you know, because they have their closet a certain type of way.
Yeah.
They got all the room, the space in their bathroom. They can't allow someone else.
Do you feel yourself
toothbrush.
getting to that point the older you get?
No, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Mm.
Even being in a relationship for 4 years, you know, of course, it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it does.
But you know, I'm willing to allow it into my life.
And that's good. What you're basically saying is you're keeping your heart open.
Yeah.
And that's really important. You got to keep your heart open. Okay, are we ready to move on? I want to know.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Go ahead, Clark.
The fact that we like right here on the fact that folks need each other, we actually talked about that this morning on the morning show.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, man, like there's absolutely. I think the older you get, you got to understand whether you want to be independent or you're trying to find a way that's going to, you know, somewhat answer your romantic needs or emotional needs per se. I find that in my personal observation of women, I see that women tend to gravitate to things even though they may not totally agree with their life. For instance, I know women that will probably never have an abortion, however, they support a woman's right to have an abortion. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times we gravitate to trends such as like hot girl summers and this, that, and the third. However, that's not putting us in a position where if we really truly want to be on the opposite side or the opposite end of that spectrum, it's not gelling together. I see that a lot.
How does that correlate into women dating over 40? So break that down and give me an example of how you can connect that and correlate that with the topic that we're talking about right now. Because I know you're doing something.
I feel like understanding who you are at this point in time in your life is detrimental, because if I as a man and we're having a conversation about like things that we don't like to fix what we have, and I'll be like, well, you are blah 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 blah, and you don't know yourself enough to know that, or you won't admit it. That might be it too. But if you don't know yourself enough to know that that's you're taking that as an attack when it's simply truth. And you know, when we're in arguments and things in that nature, because that comes with relationships. If you're gonna be in a relationship, we're gonna have to hash some things out at times. And if you don't know yourself good enough, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. That's all I'm saying.
That's good. That's good, D. Clark. That's good. That's good stuff. What do you say, DJ?
Well, I'm just kind of emotional because I'm dealing with the, like, far as me on my situation on my side. Well, my aunt, she's a widow, and I think my uncle died when she was in her 40s, and we was trying to encourage her to get back out to date again. She wouldn't date. So now I'm by her, and she's like, I don't need a man. I don't want no man. So now I'm her caregiver. So now, 20 plus years later.
So she does need a man. She doesn't need you.
Yeah, she needs me now. The nephew is the man taking care of her, making sure she get her groceries and do this, make sure light bulbs and stuff in the house. And so ladies, please take the pressure off your nephews and sons,
Can I piggyback?
But you know what? Okay, so in their defense, now, if it's a situation like that, you know, somebody is widowed, they're divorced, or at an older age, I don't know that the need is still the same. I'm talking about. I would like to think that it is, because I don't want to think that I would ever get so old that I would stop being physically attracted to the male species. Like, right? Like, you guys are very delightful for me to look at. So I enjoy the gratification that comes from looking at a handsome man, and I can appreciate his, you know, stature and his physique. And so I'm drawn to that. I'm attracted to that innately. I don't know, you know, when women get to a certain point, some of them may not necessarily need that at an older age. Like, you know, if they've been married 50 years and then they're widowed, or been married 30, 40 years and then they're widowed. I mean, their needs might be different. I just know that by and large, when I hear a lot of single women say, and these are single women who desire to be in a committed relationship, when I hear them say, I don't need a man because I am financially independent, to me, that's just not factual. To me, you are really not dealing with reality. And, you know, it has a way of coming back to bite you. So I don't believe in putting negative things like that out into the air. I believe in trying to stay as positive as I can. And I am very, you know, people say often, oh, well, you know, you're a hopeless romantic. There's nothing hopeless about romance. It's hopeful to me. I'm a hopeful romantic because I believe in romance. I believe in love, and I believe in all that comes along with it. And it feels good when you're in it. Right. When you know when you're in it, and it feels good. Like, right? Just feels natural. Yeah, natural. So let me ask. Okay, let me move on to this before. I want to know from Shonda and from the rest of you guys, like, what do you guys feel about the selection of men? How do you feel about the selection of men that are available? Well, that's what I want to know, and I'm asking for.
I just think that a lot of people have been moving from Atlanta, and they've gotten married now. So I don't know. Maybe my, you know, finding a man here in Atlanta is just it's an end.
Change your zip code.
Change of zip code.
Change the zip code.
You know, Atlanta is definitely over. It's
you need to go to Macon.
Huh?
So you're saying you just need to go to Macon? Get out of Atlanta and just go to Macon?
Let me jump in on Atlanta.
Hold on, Ursula. I want to hear what Donna has to say real quick. Donna, what do you think about the selection of men that are out there since you have thrusted yourself back into the dating scene?
That is a very good question, Tisa. And not to offend anyone that may be out there listening that's much, as far as men that are much older than me, what I'm finding on the dating apps, and I get a lot of hits from men that are like 60 and way up there in age. And just from being in healthcare, I found that men tend to be more, and you can check me on this, guys, if this is not right, but men tend to be more older. The older ones tend to be more needy and want a relationship, or maybe they're looking at, I don't want to be alone and want someone to take care of me.
I can see that on both ends, because, like, you know, and I don't even, men and women, because I mean, you think about, you know, the elderly women, a lot of the grandchildren fill in an emotional spot that maybe, you know, you can't fill in everything, but you know, you see them wanting, they reach out for more time from you know, their family, those that and I'm not saying this to offend anybody, but those that kind of have to love them. You know, you still want somebody that chooses to love you. But I see that on both spectrums. I don't think you can put that on the men. Yeah.
Here's a question I have.
But I agree.
And I want to hear from the men on this. Maybe you guys can help me out. but typically the older a man gets, right? The older a man gets, he wants someone. Say you have a 50-year-old man, and I'm just going to give you a scenario, and he is dating a 45 to 50-year-old woman. Even can be, 55, but he wants her to be sort of compatible financially. He wants her to be financially secure. He wants her to be able to carry her own weight. He wants her to bring a lot to the table. What I have discovered, and I'm still trying to figure this out, is those very same men, they will go get a woman who's 29, 30 and take 100% total and complete care of her.
Because that's all they got to work with is the money.
Require nothing of her other than a firm back. But
they're playing their last ticket of period. They're so
Clark, can you warm the drums up for me?
I want to
Oh man, y'all gonna have me. Hold on.
I can tell you why that is.
Couldn't really get her.
They know what, Shonda?
They probably know that they really couldn't get her on their own merit. So money.
Okay, but if you don't want to share your money, if it's that you don't want to share your money and you want the woman to bring everything to the table, then why go throw away your money on someone who is 20, 25 years old?
I'm just going to speak on the
Hold on, Grady. Hold on, Grady.
Come on, speak on it.
No. I'm gonna phone a friend. Grady, can you
No,
pick this up?
listen. I never
You know what? We got a lot of comments, and one of the guys, Robert O'Neill, says maybe people should stop being so choicy.
Oh yeah. That was early in the show. I forget what that was.
Oh my God, this is a great. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments.
Ladies, please don't get upset, but this is how men operate. Okay. Even though we have a lady that has that's independent, have her own money, this and that. But that girl who don't have money, you give her a couple of dollars. Oh, she's very appreciative. She just give you all kind of affection. Independent women don't show love and affection. I love y'all
you
ladies.
Generalizing now.
I'm sorry. I sound like that. I'm sorry. I worked in the strip. I worked in the entertainment field, far as exotic dance. I worked as a bouncer and as a DJ in exotic clubs. So I see the guys who come in, and a lot of them, someone I knew that was married. But these girls, they have this little trick they do to men, and for men to give them, young girls, they possess that
manners.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm wondering what young girl in the A you gonna just throw a few dollars at and she gonna be satisfied, because these young girls, they're wanting the nails done and they're wanting the hair did and they're wanting the Gucci and the Prada and the Louis Vuitton. Like, I'm wondering.
They get it too, right?
Exactly.
And they get it.
That's my point. Exactly.
Okay.
But here's what I think men have to realize is it's this. And this is for the older men. Okay. Middle-aged men. Regardless of how independent a woman is, regardless of what I bring to the table from a financial standpoint, regardless of what I bring to the table from an experience standpoint, I still need to feel safe, secure, and protected.
Oh yeah.
In my man. I still need to feel like, whether I need him to take care of me or not, I still need to feel like he has a heart that wants to.
Yes. Totally.
Can I jump in?
I will say this, Tisa. I understand that, Tisa.
Can I jump in on that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in on that. The deal is that a man is naturally a provider. He was born into the world to be that way.
Yeah.
So the power lies in the woman who has that financial status to be able to pull back and let her man rock and roll and lean with it. But the woman who puffs it up and lets her man know, I got this and I can handle this without you. I really don't need you. I
Right.
just want, it's about the woman and how she handles it. Because I have a cousin who is a doctor, a clinical psychologist. She is a doctor, and her husband is the supervisor janitor over a school. Now, she in the six figures, and he may not be close. Don't knock his hustle. He holding his own. But you know what? He is the man of his house. And even though she's a six-figure salary chick, he's a king to her.
And it's what he should be.
And she treats him like the king that he is, and he treats her like the queen that she is, and he is not intimidated by her pocketbook. Number one, because she is walking in a status of we are one. What's mine is yours, babe. What's yours is mine.
Right.
And she don't flaunt it, even though she has it. And no matter how much money she has, at the end of the day, excuse me, y'all, but she don't have what a man has. She ain't a man.
Right.
So he's not defined by for women who define a man by how much he makes.
His material stuff.
They're shunning themselves and keeping themselves from some goodness, because that's only one part of it. At the end of the day, we don't really need a resume for a relationship. You need a resume for a job. You don't need a resume for a relationship. You need a man who gonna be a man to his woman. And if he is providing, protecting, and looking out for us, we're gonna be good.
May I gotta say this.
We just at 60.
Because
yeah, definitely.
The woman she just described.
Because I know of one.
Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead, OG Clark.
The woman she just described, and I appreciate everything she said, but that is a unicorn. That is not in the high percentage of the women that we meet. I just want to make that clear, because the way she said Ursula is so smooth. She got that southern accent, and
Ursula's an artist.
to her, he's a king and she's a queen, and she's so smooth with it.
Oh yeah,
she's so smooth with it.
Which is why I love this chat. Yeah, and that's true. You know what? We talked about the last time, and Don, I'm coming to you next. We talked about on the last show, like, if you're making six figures as a woman, and you got this man over here, and he's hustling. He has a strong work ethic. He's very integral, but he's only at $40,000, $50,000 a year. Would you absolutely pass him by, or would you give him a chance, to see if there's anything that could, develop in your relationship? Me personally, this is where I am. If the chemistry is there, and the connection, all those other things can be added. I don't want anyone who has a slack attitude and who is looking for someone to take care of them. But a real man, even if he's making, and my girlfriend Chiffon said, let's see how he can work that 40,000. If he's living within his means, if he is being responsible with his finances, even if it is $40,000, and he's being very responsible with that, he's living within his means. I see that he has a heart to want to do for me and want to be the leader, and he is actually leading me in the right direction. That's somebody that I certainly wouldn't turn my nose up at, just because he's
fronting on the $40,000 and $50,000 salary man. Don't shun him.
I'm not shunning. I'm giving an example.
Okay.
Because there are some women who will say, if they're making six figures, they're going to say, you got to meet me where I am. So I'm giving you an example of, if the man is only making this much, I could say 20,000, whatever I put out there, you're going to say, don't shun it. So I'm not shunning his salary. I'm using that just to give an example, that I don't think it is right necessarily to. I think that a lot of women do miss out on, a good relationship. you know, because they're looking solely at the finances. And let's face it, if you really got it going on and you're in the six figures, then you know anything can add to your household. Two incomes are always better than one.
Amen.
When you know how to manage the finances.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what someone else told me. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're an addition. You're an
Yeah,
add-on."
you should be assets to each other.
Yeah.
Not liabilities.
That's
So
right.
what were you going to say, Donna?
Okay.
I
Donna,
was
go
I
ahead.
was thinking about what Ursula said. I totally agree what she said about the woman stepping back, allowing the man to be the leader and the provider. And I thought of myself. I got married in my mid-30s, and so I had been single for a long time and on my own. And I just remember one day Eddie Boo said, wait, you know, just remember you're married now. You've got me. I'm here. I'm here. We're doing this together. Because there were sometimes I forgot about, I was just always in that mode. I had to do this myself. I had to take care of this myself. And he had to remind me. Never did I demasculate him, but it was like, oh, okay, we're one. You've got me here to help you. And so I like what she said. Sometimes I had to remind myself I'm not in this alone. I've got someone who was a leader, led the household, and he was like a diamond in the rough. And as years went on,
You get better.
it just grew into more and more into this beautiful person.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you
So
for
like
saying
she
that.
said, don't shun the man that may be making the 40 or 50,000. Let's see what he can do with what is he doing with it.
Absolutely. Let's see let's see how responsible he is over that $40,000 or $50,000. He who is responsible and he who is responsible with a little is responsible with much, right? So let's see what he does with that $40,000. How does he carry himself? How does he posture himself? You know, that would be where I would come from. Now I can't, and I'm not, and let me just say this. I am not going to bash those women who say, well, this is what I need for myself. And I feel like I've worked and I've put in, the blood and sweat, and, I'm making six figures or even seven figures. And I do want somebody who can, meet me where I am. I'm not bashing them. I mean, that's their own personal preference. It's their own personal choices. And so they have to live with whatever decisions they make.
And I think, if you do get someone that's, making 40,000 a year, whatever, you just never know what the future holds for both of you.
Right.
This he might need a woman just to give him that extra push, that confidence to do other things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I also feel like you should be able to, if he never does anything else but that, you're going to have to accept him where he is today. Like, we have got to learn to accept people for who they are and where they are today without the aspirations of what they could become or what they could do. Because a lot of times we set ourselves up for failure and disappointment. If you can't accept that man where he is today at his 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50,000, if that's not good enough for you today, and it won't be good enough for you 10 years from now, then you need to walk away. Because we always have the tendency to want to change people in, or to create this better person, or to save this person from themselves, right? They don't necessarily need the saving. So they could be perfectly happy with themselves, but we want more from them. So we got to be able to accept people for who they are and where they are today.
Yeah.
Tisa, can I also add that I've heard a lot of single women say, I'm not going to settle. I've heard that. And my response to that is that it's not always about settling, but it's about understanding that you're not going to get the perfect person. No person is a robot. You're going to have to, when you find something worth having, you're going to have to take the bitter with the sweet. You're going to have to take the wins with the losses. And so you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if
Right.
it's like, oh, he has all these good qualities, but this one area is not right. Oh, he's got to go. I'm done. Well, you
Yeah.
know what that equals for a single woman? Single. That's what that
Single.
equals.
Right.
Because you got to be reasonable. It's one thing to not settle. It's another thing to not be rational. We have to be reasonable about the fact that we're dealing with human beings and none of us are perfect. And so sometimes you've got to really peel back the layers and go to the nucleus as opposed to looking at the top layer of the onion.
You're absolutely right. Very, very good. Very
Well
good.
said.
Who has something to follow that up? That was delicious.
It's hard to talk
That
behind
was
Ursula because
delicious.
Ursula be knocking them out the park.
Those
Well,
were some delicious words, I'm telling you. And she's right on it. From a
Yes.
married woman's perspective,
Yes.
who better to talk about?
I want to
issues
say
like
this.
well,
I want to say this with men. If a man really, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say this. The old guy told me this a long time. It's better for them to love you more than you love them, because they'll be
I
willing
always
to do
heard that.
anything for you. They will do anything for you. And men, we will sit back and observe what you like. Okay, let me try to work on myself to be what she like. We're always transforming ourselves for you guys. So allow us time to develop and to be what you want us to be, what you need
So
us to be.
DJ Grady, what's your love language?
You know what my love language is? Verbal. It's verbal. Just let me know you appreciate what I do. Tell
Words
me,
of affirmation.
Affirmation.
Words of
yes.
affirmation.
That right there, you can get anything from me. Just let me know you appreciate me. And that's why I was making a joke in the beginning part of the one of my last rants. Why men give other girls money when they have a woman. Those girls, they show they appreciate, they feel needed, because if we see that our woman needs something, our job is to fix it. We want to help. We want to, and we want that pat on the back. Hey, thank you. We appreciate that. That goes a long way with men. You can get anything. I tell people, ladies, go to strip clubs. Watch how these women get $1,000 out their man, out of men.
I think you're right, Brady. I think you're absolutely right. I think the hardest thing for an independent woman, one who has age and experience behind her belt, I think the hardest thing for her is to need someone, or to show that she needs someone. Because and I'm speaking for myself, because I think it's very easy to just always be in control, or at least try to be in control, even when you're not. But I think the hardest thing for a woman with experience and age behind her is, to show that she still needs someone. And that's really operating in a lack of wisdom. But I think that it's very, very common, and I think it's very typical. So I agree with you completely. I want to read a few. Hey, Nikki, my beautiful sister, my Aunt Teresa.
Hey.
Teresa says, yeah, my heart can't override my mind at this stage in my life. So in other words, she can't settle. If her heart is not in it, if the chemistry is not there, it's really hard to sort of trick yourself into settling. And I will say, because sometimes women do settle, and sometimes men settle. Yeah. So there are people who settle. They settle because they want the fairy tale, and they don't necessarily want to. They're not really prepared to do what it takes to make that marriage work, but they want and they love the thought of being married. So they will often settle for people who they're not equally yoked with. And
there's a lot of divorces right now.
Yeah. That's a clear pathway to destruction. So, I believe in chemistry. I really do. I mean, you don't have chemistry. I don't have chemistry with a lot of people. I know some people who can just they break up with somebody, and then you look up the next week and they're in love with somebody else, and then they break up, and then you look up a couple of weeks later, and then they're in love with someone, and I'm like, what am I missing here? Am I missing something? I can't do that. I'm not capable of doing that. And I've always said, wow, I wonder how that feels to be able to rebound and get over a person.
Because they're not looking for chemistry; they're looking for finances and romances. Because chemistry change,
But they think these people actually think that they're in love. I mean,
Oh,
I don't.
well,
I promise. Like,
well,
do you know people like
Oh
that?
yeah.
they must be calling that Aaliyah song. At first you don't succeed, dust
Mhm.
yourself off and try again. You know.
Tisa.
Yeah.
A lot of real testimony.
It's like, what am I missing? What am I? It's just not in my DNA. I can't if I'm not. If the chemistry is just not strongly there,
Oh
like
my
the
gosh.
body wants what the body wants. The heart wants what the heart wants, right?
Right.
If my heart ain't wanting you, the body is just not going to respond. It's a done deal.
Oh my
Ain't gonna
goodness.
happen, Cap.
I'm
But
sorry.
I'm looking at these people who can
You need
rebound so
hypnosis.
quickly, and I'm like, wow. What'd you say, DJ?
I said you need hypnosis or something. Just try to fix that.
I need to fix it.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Tisa.
No.
Yeah.
This-
What do you?
I want you to be happy. I'm gonna tell you,
Uh-huh.
ladies, all you ladies have a man, that perfect one. Y'all just put him in the friend zone.
Uh-oh.
He's in the friend zone.
Mm.
I don't know.
No,
And
he didn't.
we've had this conversation before. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. What do you have to add, Donna? What were you gonna say?
When you were talking about chemistry, and then DJ Grady just said about putting the man in the friend zone, met a nice looking brother that was on the dating app I was on
Mhm.
Match. Had looked like he had it all together. We did end up chatting on the phone, and there was nothing there, no chemistry. It was like, okay. And I thought back, okay, maybe in my younger days, I would have said, oh, yeah, he's fine. Okay, I'll go out with him. But I was like, oh, I'm done. Because I felt like I was pulling teeth.
Yeah,
to
it was
get this man to
painful.
even
It was
talk.
Painful. That's what you call a painful conversation.
It was very
Yeah.
painful. And I
Yeah.
knew then there was nothing there. But he was love bombing me like, wait a minute, this is just our second or third time speaking on the phone. It's like, oh, my love, and love this and love that. And I'm like, so one day he sent me a text, and I don't know if he was just playing around or playing a game. And he said something like, oh, I can't wait till you be a part of my life. And I said, how are you going to make that happen?
Right.
Because that is a done deal.
No,
Yeah,
hold on,
not gonna
hold on.
happen.
So,
And I can agree with that, because I have had conversations when the chemistry is there. The first conversation, I have talked for 6 hours on the phone, and I'm not a big phone person. I don't like phone conversations, but those type of conversations that are engaging, that you just can't have
Yes.
the phone.
Right.
Like, that's what it's supposed to be like. And when you have those conversations with people for the first time and then the second time, there won't be a third time if they're painful
Yeah,
conversations.
and
Like,
that's a deal breaker for
it's
me.
a deal breaker.
Yeah, communication.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to talk to somebody that you don't have anything to talk
Right.
about with?
He doesn't
I have a friend that lives in DC that I knew in college.
what if he was a prophet?
And I would call and tell him, like, why would this guy say this, or why would this guy do this? And he said something about being a single woman and dating. Watch and try to learn, what is that guy's ulterior motive? What is his goal? Because and he said the guy that wouldn't talk much or couldn't engage in conversation because of his background in entertainment and media, and now works in law enforcement. He said, oh, that guy couldn't carry a conversation with you because he was used to women leading the conversation. They were probably like swooning over him. And like, oh, I bet you did this, and I bet you met this person. I bet you, oh, you're just, he said he could not engage.
I could see that being the case, and I could also see some men just having communication barriers, and they have an inability to be able to connect and communicate because that's not what they know. That's not who they are. That's not what they've seen, coming up. A lot of people come up and they don't see their parents communicating with each other or showing each other affection or, sitting down and having meaningful dialogue with each other. So a lot of people just don't know how to
or just don't have that love
communicate.
Or he just scared to talk to, because
or maybe he's an introvert. And
you're probably talking to the judicial system. What you say can be used and held against you. So he didn't want to say nothing to incriminate himself. So that's why he didn't want to say nothing.
You know what? I cannot with you.
With the mind ministry, that's what he is.
Yeah, what you got to say, G. Clark?
All I want to say, as far as like the settling thing, man, like I agree with Grady, man. Men will change for the better if there's something they desire. If you are a woman that I feel like I have to raise my game to, you best believe on all ends, the grind is gruesome. And I think that's something that women need to understand in the man that they choose. And whatever he do, if he does work at McDonald's and he's getting fry maker of the month, or he's always getting employee of the month, he's always doing something with his accolades from his work, the grind is gruesome. Maybe it's something that he might be working for Xbox right now. He don't know that he needs to work for a woman right now. But when he gets that woman that he understands that, well, maybe I'm going to have to take her to get her nails done, upkeep that hair that I like on her head, or whatever the case may be, he's gonna find ways to grind to get it.
He's gonna make sure that his hustle is straight.
That's been from day one. Again, this house that I'm in, that throne chair behind me, the photography license, all for a woman. I never picked up a camera and was like, I'm gonna go shoot a man one day, even though plenty of men have paid me. You understand what I'm saying? So the grind is real. I'm telling y'all talk about selling. Understand what you're selling for. Choosing a man is just like going in the grocery store choosing fruit. Sometimes you want that peach that you know I'm going to be able to tear into that thing today, and it's going to give me what I need. But then sometimes you like, well, I don't want it today, but I wanted it in my possession. So on Saturday it'll be right for me to take it then. You know.
So you saying we should pick up a man today and hold on to him for later.
I'm saying where he lacks, because understand he knows where he lacks too. If I know that I can't afford that necklace pearl over there on Shonda, I'm gonna find a way that I can afford something that's gonna impress her. You understand what I'm saying? Like he understands where his shortcomings in, and he will understand that quickly dealing with the caliber woman that she's in. And I mean, any fella will agree. Men will change.
There is no great motivation in a woman.
And you know what? And it shouldn't be that a man is feeling like, and this is, to the women, it shouldn't be that a man is feeling like he's having to change for you. It should be that he wants to
change for himself.
No, he wants to.
It's natural. It's natural. Yeah. We know what he wants to.
Yeah, he wants to be a better person. I think that everybody at the end of the day, I think that the best that we could ask for is just to be with somebody who really inspires us to be better people. Don't be with someone just to be with them. Be with someone who really inspires you to be a better version of who you are. Shamika says older women don't feel like they have to deal or put up with anything. It's too defensive. Younger girls are aware that being soft and stroking his ego will get you whatever.
And I think that was going to my manners comment when I had kind of jumped in on Grady. It wasn't that we're getting this yes sir, no sir. It's that like a younger woman, in most times they stroke your ego. They really stroke your ego.
They're playing
whereas, and they do that a lot better.
I mean, let's be real. If they're playing that game, that part of the game is working. When you find someone that feels that they're your equal and this, that, and the third, you don't see it as much. You don't see it as much. So it's definitely when you finally get it from somebody, you notice. I've seen plenty of dudes. That's kryptonite. That is kryptonite.
Yes. Take my money.
Kay Renee says, well, that woman at home better find out what the young lady's doing and be a little more needy.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because you know how you ladies come home from a hard day's work and you tell your guy about the day, oh, so-and-so harassing me. What'd you do? Oh, let me find out who he is. I'm going to deal with him. We want to fix it right then and there.
Can't wait to put on that cake.
Can't wait to put on the cake. That's how you want to do it.
Put on the cake.
Yeah.
I can play the submissive role.
Say that again now?
Do it again.
Submissive role.
You know how to play the submissive role?
Oh, yeah.
To me,
I can submit to my man.
To me, submissiveness is, you're not really playing a role. To me, I want to submit to a man. Like that, it would be my absolute pleasure to submit to the right man. But I just have to know that he's leading me in the right direction.
Let me ask you this:
Oh.
can you let the man lead though? Because like
Of
in certain
course.
situations I've been in, I've been trying to do certain. I know I can do certain things. I've been doing it, but they want to show they can outdo me. No, sit back.
I'm
Let
not
me do
trying to
this.
compete with. I don't even compete with other women, let alone trying to compete with a man.
Okay.
There are just
Cool.
things that men
Good.
naturally do better than us, and I acknowledge that and respect it and embrace it. And I think that you all have to know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there are some things that I'm going to be able to bring to the table that are going to benefit us, and there are some things that the man is going to bring to the table that would be able to benefit us. And if we're smart about it, then we will use each other's. We will be strength when where the other one is weak, instead of using weaknesses against each other.
Cool.
That is so counterproductive. It serves absolutely no purpose. So yes, I absolutely I have no problem submitting. I've submitted many times in the past.
And
not to
can
many
I
men, but many times in the past. Shamika says every woman says that there are a lot of men who do make less than them, and yet they still single. So it sounds good, but so it sounds good, but good men are passed over for that very reason. And she's right. There are some women who would say, and that's what I was just saying. I'm not going to knock it either way. I think people have the right to feel and to want and to expect whatever it is they want. So if a woman says, I want a man who's making six figures or who can meet me where I am, I'm not going to knock her or ridicule her or judge her for that. That's what she wants. I don't necessarily think that it is as important to me because I'm in a position that I am able to financially take care of myself. So anything that comes my way in any relationship that I embark upon, to me, it's an asset. It's an added to the home. Two incomes are always better than one if you know how to manage your finances. I've always said that. So even if, I am at six figures and somebody comes in and he's at 50,000. Okay, well, you can do a lot more living in one household with 150,000 than you can with 100,000.
Amen.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just where I am. So I'm not knocking anybody. And again, they have the right to feel the way they feel. Kay Renee says, don't sleep on the average working man with a good heart, respect for the family and significant other. Hard work ethics. Okay, hard work ethics and can bring the pipe. So,
watch out.
That's a hell of a man. That's a hell of a man. Hell of a man.
Right. Hey. But she says, wait a minute, $20,000, no lower than 40,000. I'm just saying. Okay, so
They said she ain't hitting the reset button.
Everybody has to have their limits.
Tisa.
Huh?
Tisa, can I just add one last final thing?
Go ahead, sure.
Before I married my husband, I said this prayer, and I said, God, help me to be able, when I finally settle down and find a man, help me to see his heart as clear as I see his face.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I would like to pass on to the single ladies today. That that when you really get in a posture, ask God to help you to see the heart of the man. Because when you can see the heart of the man, then I'm gonna just leave it there.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
I've heard and experienced that.
I believe that so wholeheartedly. So let me ask you guys this. Are you guys open to, I know that Donna is, are you open to online dating? I mean, what's your preferred method in meeting a man? Because let me just say this. I think that it is very unrealistic for, this is a big world that we live in, right?
Yeah.
It's a real big world. Is it really realistic for us to think that the only place that our potential life partner could be located is where we geographically are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that online dating serves a purpose.
Mhm.
That's just my personal opinion.
Puts you in
I'm not an
zip
advocate.
codes.
I'm not an advocate for it, but I don't knock it either, because I think that it gives you an open window, an opportunity to meet people that you otherwise would have absolutely no way of meeting.
That's right, because
Mhm.
I met someone on online dating who
Yeah.
was a Caucasian man that lived in the mountains. And when I looked at his picture, he had gruffy hair, hair all over his face, but and real skinny. And he wasn't the type of man that I would date.
Is that right? Okay, so you say that to say what?
What I'm saying is that sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad.
Well, I mean, but you got to sort through all those. You got to,
Mhm.
you're going to have a lot of frogs jump
They
on
would
your
have
lily
killed
pad.
me. I'm from North Carolina.
You're going to have a lot of frogs trying to jump on your lily pad.
Oh yeah.
You've got to sort through. You got to sort through all of that. But and I will say this now that you said that, we also have to. I think that we have to be open, and I might get a lot of pushback. But I think that women should be open to, exploring and dating outside their race.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that you should limit yourself to,
I agree.
just dating. How do you feel about that, Donna?
I used to, I would have never considered online dating, but someone suggested, why don't you just try it? Just try it. But there's been a lot of other races that have hit my profile. And a lot of them have been white men. Now, most of them have been men that look like they were the mountain guys. But
Looking
I
for some
have
brown
met one
sugar.
Really?
yes. And I'm like, okay. But I have met one that was a Greek god. but it turned out, I think he was had stolen someone's profile. But you really have to sift through the frogs and look at the profiles very closely, because a lot of guys on there cut and paste from someone else's profile.
Yeah, a lot of catfishing. It's a lot of catfishing.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you
And it's
are,
also,
but are you open to dating outside your race too, Donna?
I think so. I mean, I would be willing to try it.
Yeah.
If it's the right one and the chemistry's there and the attraction is there, I might consider it.
No, no.
Why not? Why not? What say you, DJ? I mean,
No, I was just making background noises. I was like, no, Donna, no.
do you feel some type of way about that, DJ?
No. Because if the shoe's on the other foot, if the ladies get offended if a man say I want to date outside my race. Raccoon June has stepped in the building. Oh, y'all brought Raccoon June out. Oh my God.
G Clark did it. G Clark.
You gotta
Raccoon
understand.
June. Okay, so G Clark is no longer present.
She said she want a mountain man. Okay. I've been to the mountaintops and I seen the glory. That's all I'm saying, baby. That's all I'm saying.
I wanted a mountain man.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, she want a mountain man. I got it for you, baby.
I cannot with you, G Clark. Oh my
Ladies
God.
and gentlemen, leeches and germs. I'm just saying. Oh,
Hilarious.
hold on.
That
Let me
is
fix my hair.
hilarious.
Let me fix. My hair,
My thing is, I just want everyone, especially the older we get, and it's not even an age thing with me. I think that we always need to keep ourselves open to, to just loving people. And, your soulmate could be somebody who's white, Hispanic. I mean, who's to say that your soulmate has to be the same race, has to fall within the same race that you're in, and be in the same geographical area.
Right.
So I just, in order to, and I'm speaking to the single ladies out there, in order to maximize, your opportunities of finding or having him find you, just be open to doing things, a little differently. Always exercise caution. Let me lead with that. So always make sure that you're. And let me just give you some online dating tips. If you are chatting with a man, and for whatever reason, after one conversation, 2 conversations, if he can't video chat with you, if he is always making excuses as to why he is not available to video chat,
Oh, okay.
chances are you've got to catfish him.
Here's a good one, Tisa. Tell them to take a selfie. And that's how you know they're catfishing. Say, send me a selfie. That's how I caught a guy catfishing. Yeah,
he could pull up somebody else's selfie though, D. He could pull. I need a video chat. Okay, I don't want to meet him necessarily before a video chat. I want to know that I am talking to whom I think I'm talking to. So the way you, it's very easily solved. Just have a video. I mean, you've got too many video chat apps. There's no reason why someone can't do that for you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, all I'm saying is, be careful,
Be careful.
with caution, but make sure that you're open to, doing whatever you can to, fill that void in your life. Shell says, hello, beautiful ladies. I love this show, Shell Arts. Thank you, Shell. We love you too.
Thank you.
And Kay Renee says, okay, so the real deal is, ladies, we overthinking. Stop, in all caps. Stop thinking about the future and enjoy the present.
Yes.
Grow together. Chemistry is a beast. But don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in the chemistry. It could be lethal.
Yeah. Because you can have chemistry with a toxic person and not even know it.
And that happens more times than not, does it not? I mean, sometimes you can definitely have chemistry with the wrong person, which is there are benefits in getting to know someone. Yeah. So
the first guy I chatted with was toxic. The very first person I chatted with, and some of the things he said was not appropriate, and was already had me down the road as his future wife. And I said, excuse me, but you realize we're on a dating site and there are other people that I talk to. And he says, well, see there, that's the devil getting in the way of you and me, because when your potential Boaz is right here in front of you. And I said, well, I haven't heard from God that you're the one.
Right.
Shut it down.
Yeah, you have a lot of people who try to force you into.
But if I had been weak and fell for his love bombing and, oh, honey, sweetie, baby, you're the one. Yeah, that could have been very lethal for me.
Absolutely. You use wisdom, because a lot of people will try to, mix this instant relationship together. Just add water and we've got an instant relationship. And they'll try to pressure you into that.
Right.
But
they said over $202 million was lost in 2020 in online dating, people getting scammed. Over $200 million.
I believe it. Well, listen, it's like 8:23. We have been talking. We have just been talking. I've enjoyed the conversation. We've still got some wonderful comments. There's no way I'm going to be able to get to all these comments. Katrina Slaughter says, I think it's beautiful some older men are choosing much younger women.
I like older women.
Okay. I think it's also a beautiful thing when an older woman chooses
a younger man.
Yeah.
So
I just like women.
That goes both ways. That goes both ways, and I'm not hating either way. Davey White says there are men who make 6 figures and live paycheck to paycheck. Absolutely true.
Yes.
While there are men who know how not to spend their way into poverty. I could not agree with you more.
Yes.
You are absolutely right, Davey Wright. I absolutely agree with you. So it's not necessarily what you make, it's what you do with what you have.
Yes. Yeah. Knowing the difference between asset and liabilities.
Absolutely. So I got to get up. I'm trying to read these comments, but they're way.
We're gonna have to tag team on those comments.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, guys. Listen, and I know some of these on here. No, that's not what I said, sis. Reread it.
You
Oh,
said,
okay.
yeah.
Katrina says, that's not what she says. I'm sorry, boo. Let
Yeah,
me see. Let me
she
see
said, I
what you
think it's
said.
because some older men are choosing much younger women. Not that it's beautiful.
Oh, okay. I think it's because,
Right.
okay, y'all see what I got on. I think it's because some older men are choosing much younger women. Okay. Thank you, Katrina. I appreciate that. You know, my vision is not what it used to be. I guess I'm falling into that older woman category.
That's all right.
It's all good.
So thank you so much for correcting me on that. I appreciate that. And listen, guys, I thank you guys so much for chiming in, for watching, for sharing with us. If I did not read your comment here on the podcast, please know that I will read it when we exit the show. And also, I would ask that my guest panelists, that you all would also read the comments. And if you feel that it's something that you can respond to or something that's appropriate for you specifically, then please answer these sweet babies. She says, when you feel you no longer have to compete, you lose. Keep his attention by all and any means necessary.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Because
What you did to get him,
I can now.
what you did to get him, do it to keep him. Don't let yourself go.
Yeah.
Do not let yourself go.
Yeah.
When you let yourself go, you letting him go.
Because Bonquisha is looking at him, just waiting on a crack in the armor.
Hey,
Right.
I'm here to tell you.
And even as young, single women, we still gotta, be in competition, not competition, but keep ourselves up, for a man. We can't let ourselves go.
Right.
And collect cats and dogs.
Okay.
As our
Thank
companions.
you. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Right,
right.
right.
Child in the
I'm
house.
gonna
Yeah.
read one more comment, and Katrina
Thank you. I
says,
love that.
Katrina's responding to Shamika, and she says, not necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel that by men choosing younger women over 40 get kicked to the curb. I mean, a 40-year-old man will marry a 20-something-year-old woman. Times are just different nowadays. To each their own.
Matters.
Yeah, I think that, and Nikki Beatty says, that was a good point, T. I never looked at online dating from that angle. I am definitely not opposed to dating outside of my race. Thank you, boo. I mean, I'm just here to tell you, I'm an advocate for, well, not really an advocate, but I definitely would encourage anybody who wants to meet people,
So don't get
you
me
just
wrong.
have to be careful. Who is to say? And some people will say, "Oh, that online dating is just crazy." I mean, you can meet somebody and they end up being an axe murderer. Well, you can meet somebody in the church and they end up being that way. Or you can meet somebody in the grocery store and they end up being that. I mean, who's to say that because you meet a person online that they're going to present more of a danger to you than someone that you would meet face to face? You just have to exercise caution. And I agree with all the comments that have been made. We will respond to each and every one. Thanks, Donna, for being on. Thanks, Ursula, for being on. Thank you, Shonda, for coming on to do this with me. And certainly, we thank you, DJ Grady Baby and G Clark. You guys are the bomb diggity. So you are talking about you are surrounded with fineness. We're surrounded with fineness too.
Oh, shucks.
I know.
Give it up for Mr. Raccoon Hat and y'all were serving the fineness today.
We try, baby. We try.
Thank you. Oh,
we so appreciate it. Thank you.
It's an honor to be on the show today, and I'm just very grateful to be here. Thanks for all the listeners that commented. We definitely respond to your message.
Absolutely. We got to respond to them later. But thank you, listeners, so much. We love you guys. As always, we will see. DJ, you ready to take us out? Don't blast us.
No.
Do not blast us today. I'm just telling you.
I'm a club DJ, so we like everything.
We're not.
We got you.
He's trying to make sure the neighbors here. That's all.
A little bit of volume. A little bit more volume.
Oh, see, there you go.
I'm jamming hard. I can barely hear. Come on, Gwen.
Tisa Batey Show. question.